So ChatGPT just recently released their O4 model, which the main thing that I'm interested in is the image reasoning, which apparently is able to reason based on images you give it now. So to test it out, I made this very simple comic for it to interpret however it would like to. So this is what it spat out for me. It was firstly not able to tell that there were actually only 3 panels in the image and assumed 4 just based on the structure. And it gave a little summary of each of the panels, which is reasonable and rational to make. And the overall message it states is that people underestimate the emotional impact of their words. You can just say no, but you can't expect someone not to feel hurt, and yet some stay blissfully unaware of that hurt afterwards. And this is what ChatGPT 4.0 gave me, which is the standard free version. It also was not necessarily able to tell that there were only 3 panels based on the structure of this again, and its interpretation was that the guy initiated a difficult conversation, perhaps a breakup. He leaves, feels heartbroken, while the girl who was unaware or overwhelmed during the conversation is left confused and questioning maybe what just happened. So it is talking about the silent yet powerful portrayal of miscommunication and emotional fallout. So the very interesting thing that I noticed about 4.0 was that it made a lot of assumptions that weren't definitive to the cartoon. For example, that it could have been a breakup and that he was necessarily heartbroken and the girl was overwhelmed or unsure. So it interprets this as miscommunication and emotional fallout, which is kind of implying that the guy and the girl have some miscommunication during this comic, which is a bit of a stretch based on this image, although it is an interesting interpretation to take. ChatGPT 4.0 actually does something very interesting, which is it actually goes deeper but doesn't make any assumptions. So it's also talking about the fact that the girl or the long-haired character in this scene is blissfully unaware. However, it discusses it not as miscommunication as per se, but the notion that you can just say no, but you can't expect someone not to feel hurt. This was actually very interesting to me because at first glance I thought they were basically saying the same thing, or they just had 2 slightly different interpretations of the comic. However, after thinking about it for a bit, I feel like O4 actually has a significantly deeper understanding of the actual psyches here. Instead of assuming that it's just a general misunderstanding, ChatGPT O4 was able to go further and say that the long-haired character had the expectation that saying no would be not harmful, and that is why they were confused at the heartbreak of the other character. As a result, I feel like even though O4's response was significantly shorter, it actually had much richer of an understanding of the comic than 4.0, which was very happy to give a lot of details and try to make a lot of assumptions, but didn't actually give any deep insight into the psyches of the characters.